Today on the Philly Talk podcast, it is officially game day as the Eagles take on the Ravens on the road in Baltimore for their first preseason matchup of the 2023 NFL season. We also dropped the shock and depth chart that got fans scratching their head the same way the running back position had them doing it. Although in this video, we do get some clarification. Last but not least, we talk about Nolan Smith and how he finally commented on playing off-ball linebacker. Does he like it?
This is Philly Talk with Philly Mike. Talking sixes in the bird gang, that's I like. Competition, we ain't scared, yeah, that's what we like. Win or lose, you know we showing up and we gon' fight. You see we strive for the sky every day that go by. And every single week we scream and fly, Eagles fly. This is Philly Talk with Philly Mike, yeah. This is Philly Talk with Philly Mike, yeah.
What is going on, everybody? I go by Philly Mike, and this is the Philly Talk podcast, and today we got a lot to get into. But before we do that, Eagle Nation, can I ask y'all a favor? Especially if you're excited that Eagles football is back, help your boy out. Hit that like button, subscribe if you are new, and ding the bell. That way you're notified when we drop videos, YouTube shorts, and go live, which we will be doing in less than about 3 hours, right? Eagles, Ravens, live play-by-play. Come hang out with your boy Philly Mike. We do the live play-by-play for every single Eagles game. So don't forget, Sundays, or in this case, Saturday, this is where you want to be. Now, Nick Sirianni and Jalen Hurts spoke to the media before this game. We'll get on what they were asked. But Nick Sirianni says no decision on the Eagles starters playing in the first preseason game. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Should the starters play a little, at all, or not at all? Also, Nick Sirianni says the practice on Wednesday was moved to the link because he wanted coaches to get practice with communication, which is interesting. Remember, we do have two new coordinators. Brian Johnson has been here. He's familiar with Jalen Hurts, but calling plays, communication with Nick Sirianni, he hasn't had that yet. So that has to grow. Sean Desai, probably a better DC than Jonathan Gannon. Should be. Same scheme, more aggressive, and he's not cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs upstairs, right? That being said, communication has to be practiced. Nick Sirianni said himself he had to get a little bit better or back in the field with it because he didn't like the communication during the live practice at the link with 50K in attendance. So I'm glad he's trying to fine-tool the things that need to be done, because we talk about the players coming out sloppy. The coaches can come out sloppy during week one, and we got the rest of training camp and the rest of the preseason to clean that up. As for number one, Jalen Hurts, he doesn't just have a connection with A.J. Brown. It is grown with Dallas Goedert. Hey, Goedert could have a big year this year, right? Jalen Hurts was asked about being coached hard by Sirianni, doing push-ups after his mistake. This is what he said. As a team, as a leader, everybody is worthy of getting coached. I can't get on another guy for something if I'm not practicing what I'm preaching. We are all here to continue to grow and learn. This is coming from your franchise guy, the leader of your football team, accountability. It starts at the top, just like it did with Tom Brady. Belichick could coach Brady hard, everybody else fell in line. Nick Sirianni can coach Jalen Hurts hard, everybody else will fall in line. And it's not like Nick Sirianni's yelling at Jalen Hurts for throwing in an interception. No, it was a mental mistake, something that Hurts could control. So he understands I made a mistake, and who pushes himself to be the best more than Jalen Hurts? I ain't worried about it. You got Nick Wright on First Things First talking about Jalen Hurts got to be a consistent thrower of the football. Huh? Jalen Hurts had the second best passer rating in the NFL, throwing downfield last season at 121.7. Does that seem consistent to you? It seems consistent to me. Now, we got to hear a couple different things from Nolan Smith, but what he said about playing off-ball linebacker was interesting. Listen.
Oh, I did that at Georgia. That's not ideal where I want to play, but that's a skill set. I try to be like a Swiss Army knife. I can play off the ball, on the ball, whatever coach need me to do to dress up for the skies, but ultimately, I can pass rush on all five of the offensive linemen because I'm a pass rusher.
He said he's a pass rusher. He said he will play it if that's what Sean Desai makes him do or puts him at sometimes. but he's a pass rusher, and that's where he's best suited. However, if he's playing off ball a little bit, you can utilize his speed, and then Sean Desai can even blitz him from off ball. I remember talking to y'all about Nolan Smith and Hassan Reddick on the same side. Reddick on the line, Nolan Smith off ball. They both come. Especially if you drop him back one play. Next play, quarterback looks over there and says, oh, Nolan Smith dropping back. Looks to the left, hikes the ball. Here comes Nolan Smith on a linebacker blitz. Big time hit. Maybe it happens week 1 on Mac Jones. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe it happens today against the Ravens. But Nolan Smith is going to be on the field as much as possible because he's that type of player. He also talked about how he sees the game through his eyes now after being injured in Georgia.
It don't matter preseason practice, I'm giving it my all just because I remember that feeling in my heart that I got when I couldn't play another snap. Like most people they think it's a game, but man, if you really live this shit day in and day out and you walk off that field and knowing, man, I don't know if that's going to be my last snap, well, you'll go harder than you ever been.
How can you not love this kid? Playing with that much passion. He didn't even play yet. I already know he's coming with his A game today in the Ravens game. He also just says crazy cool catchphrases, right? Nolan Smith says he will be going balls to the wall in Saturday's preseason game against the Ravens. Says he can't wait to get back out there again and hit somebody. Smith missed the second half of the season at Georgia due to an injury, so this will be his first real return to action, and that is important. Not being able to play the game you love, this is why he is who he is, and he's not going to take anything for granted. Now, let's knock on wood for every Eagles player today. Prayers, knock on fake wood, real wood. That is the biggest thing about preseason and training camp. Just stay healthy. Now, I do want to talk about the running back position. Then we'll go to the depth chart, and then we'll talk about what players to watch in this game. First off, Rashad Penny, when talking to the media, has the label linebacker on his name. That's interesting. Now let's get to the running back position explained by Elliot Shorr-Parks, who takes all the notes in camp. Here we go. Kenny G has the most touches among the running backs in camp by far with 40 touches. He also has the most carries with the first team on offense with 21. Nobody else has more than 11. Gainwell also has 11 catches, which is second most. He might be RB1, according to Elliot Shorr-Parks. Swift has really become less involved as camp has gone on. He has 13 total carries, which is last amongst the top 5 running backs. His work is almost all in the passing game, where he has 12 catches. He might strictly be a third down running back? Huh? Penny is the hardest to get a read on. He has the most carries with the third team offense amongst the top 5 running backs. He has the second fewest with the first team offense, but has the second most touches overall. Why aren't they getting him more reps with the ones? He's not involved in the passing game, really. He's either such a lock that they don't care or truly on the roster bubble. Now, he didn't do Boston Scott in this one. We'll talk about Boston Scott. Trey Sermon isn't treated like a running back that is going to be cut. He gets as much first team work as Penny. He has more carries and catches than Scott or Penny. The Eagles have him under contract for 2 years as opposed to 1 for Penny. Could that be the difference? Again, we don't get to hear about Boston Scott. I think Elliot Shorr-Parks thinks that Boston Scott's a lock for the simple fact he kills the Giants twice a year, and he's a utility player. Knows the offense, been around for a minute. He's never expected to get the most carries, but if you need him in a pinch, he's there. Kickoff returns, punt returns, special teams. Boston Scott's not getting cut. He's just not. That being said, you can't have Swift as strictly a third down guy. The dude can run the ball between the tackles. According to McMullen and Elliot Shorr-Parks, they think RB1 is Kenny G. Penny's just so hard to read. At the end of the day, no matter who's 1, 2, and 3, they're all talented. As long as they stay healthy, they all are so talented. With Jalen Hurts behind his offensive line, I'm not worried. So I'm curious. I'm frustrated. I don't know the rotation, but it's my least worried position because when healthy, it's a dynamic room. And I can't wait to see the dynamics of today. Does the person that runs the most mean he's on the bubble? The person that runs the least means they're locked? I don't know. We're going to see. Now, don't kill me. This is the unofficial depth chart. It is what it is. At the end of the day, Things are going to change. We haven't even played a preseason. I'm only going to go over the things that stood out to me, not the starters. First thing that stood out is the fact that they're not willing to even give you a hint about the running back position. Look who's all in category 1. Gainwell, Penny, Scott, Sermon, Swift, all in category 1. Then the last category is Kennedy Brooks. Sorry, bro. Don't look good for you, right? The second thing I noticed is Jalen Carter behind Jordan Davis, and rightfully so for now. I think they're all going to play a lot of snaps during the real part of the season, all right? Another thing that stood out is behind Hassan Reddick is Patrick Johnson / Nolan Smith. First of all, Patrick Johnson's injured. And if you're going to slash Nolan Smith with somebody, put Nolan Smith in the front of the slash, not behind Patrick Johnson, who's had a nice camp, but not the camp that Nolan Smith had, right? Another thing was Miles Jack in the last column, the third column, Sean Bradley over him. The only thing that comes to mind is maybe he don't quite got the playbook. Okay, understandable. Another thing was Christian Ellis / Nicholas Morrow. You can't give Christian Ellis the nod with the camp he's had so far. Just because you put him in first now don't mean you can't change him. I don't like the fact that we're not telling people, hey, you have been earning the spot. It's yours. It could still be taken, but it's yours. Here we go down to something I really liked about the depth chart, and it's the backups to James Bradbury and Darius Slay. Josh Jobe and Keely Ringo, who has beat out so far, I guess, Greedy Williams, Mekhi Garner, Mario Goodrich, and Eli Ricks. Ringo and Jobe have had spectacular camps. I'm interested to see if they could be the future corners for the Philadelphia Eagles. Last but not least, interesting safety depth chart position. Terrell Edmonds / Kavon Wallace, is he really about to steal Terrell Edmonds' spot? And Sidney Brown is slashed with Justin Evans. At least, unlike Nolan Smith, Sidney Brown is in the first part of the slash over Justin Evans. But Reed Blankenship, as we all heard throughout camp, has the number 1 spot locked as it pertains to safeties. Now, we got to go over my players to watch via this preseason game, and this game is coming out close. Remember, I will be live. So hopefully, if people are watching this video after the game, that's why I did the Eagles-Ravens stuff last, 12 minutes in, for the simple fact I want the people who already watched the game to hear the running back stuff and blah, 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 blah. Anyways, this is what I'm watching for in the Eagles versus Ravens game. Jalen Carter and Nolan Smith. I want to see their first action. I also want to see how the feel of the game is for Sidney Brown. I want to know if Christian Ellis is legit, and of course, there's more depth pieces. This pairing is what I'm really interested in seeing. Keely Ringo and Josh Jobe. I also want to know if the Joseph Ngata hype is real. I want to know if Kavon Wallace has had a really good camp. And I want to see the special teams. Will Devin Allen return a punt? Will we get to see Devin Allen? Find out on the next episode of Dragon Ball Z. Lastly, another thing I didn't put in there as it pertains to special teams is we might get to see the real one-on-one competition of Ty Zenter, Legatron, versus Sipas. Zenter, Sipas, that's going to be a battle. Drop the muscle emoji if you're not going to comment on the video. It's because we Philly strong. Check out the link in the description if you want to get a hat or a shirt. I do want to show you one more other thing as it pertains to Jalen Carter. I guess it's not going to show. Is it going to load? Oh, here it is. In a Sports Illustrated, Jalen Carter was asked about, being Rookie of the Year and blah, blah, blah. This is what he said. People try to run on us against Georgia. Oh, people try to run against Georgia, but I'm in the NFL. It's more passing. I feel like I'm going to get more sacks in Philly, who had 70 sacks last year. We're going for that again. I'm going to try to get as many sacks as I can, tackles, field goal blocks, and all. Jalen Carter, Nolan Smith, they about to ball out in this game. Until next time, you know what time it is. Like, subscribe, comment, muscle emoji. We are out. Peace.